So in the first year, just quickly, I feel like it's important to just highlight how this integration occurs. It occurs early, and it's so typical. Okay, it's not like, we're doing therapy. This is just happening. And what I should say, this was a wake-up call when I had kids. So when I worked in early intervention, I didn't really, what development is. I'm sure, typical development from kids that you grew up with, or babysitting, or opportunities to be around small, younger children. But I did not realize how much just happens on its own. It was fascinating to me. I think of it as a miracle, really. It's incredible how the whole process happens. I still feel that way. But when you start to deconstruct and look at how all these basic skills are emerging, a lot of it just happens on its own. Kids are guided by their intrinsic motivation to learn and be interactive. If something is stopping them from doing that, we really have to look back at this phase to see, when did we notice, where did it go wrong? What was that thing that changed their intrinsic motivation? And believe me, I think so much does happen in this first year that it would be worth exploring. So in the first year, so much happens in terms of development. I think if we looked at any mammal, we would say that's pretty remarkable. But particularly for humans, and the level of cognitive ability within the first year and motor precision within the first year is incredible. To go from being totally dependent to ambulating, wow, that's a lot. And all of the systems, if you just think back to those 7 senses, how they had to integrate. So pulling to stand all the way to walking is huge navigation through space. It takes so much vestibular integration with the visual system and that muscle and joint system and the tactile system. Where am I in relationship to that thing I'm pulling up on? And where is my center of gravity? How much pressure and control do I need to get up into that position? And then rotate and move in space. That's amazing, because it's this kind of system in our inner ear system that needs to communicate all of that information. And it has to coordinate very tightly with that visual system to know what's behind me. You're not going to explore all parts of space in the world before you're 1, but you have some level of the subcortical system that's telling you what's back there, and how far to reach. And the subcortical, are what I call those fluency skills, automaticity skills, really help us to do that. Without that, we have to use our visual system to look. Is it safe? Can I do it? Will it be okay? And then I make that move. That takes a lot of energy. It should just be that natural reach back and pick up that thing. All within, the first year and a half that is happening. So it's really just the point I'm making, but it's kind of incredible. Then language that happens as well. So obviously the auditory system, tightly linked to the movement system, is making connections and making cognitive connections, because we're figuring out what things mean and what sounds are paired with those meanings. Imitating obviously is a big part of that first year, and that is where, in my therapy services, I begin with so many different age groups. It's simple imitation, okay, or recognition, that developing that perceptual set. So much of that is happening here. And if there's a problem with that movement system, or vice versa, if that auditory system isn't processing information accurately, it's really hard to develop any of this language. So these are going to be critical periods that we want to look at in terms of looking back.